Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Our Community with Whitney Prather. Learn about what's happening in Stark and Tuscarawas counties and the surrounding areas. We're going to highlight interesting people, businesses, organizations, churches, events, and even more. Stay tuned. Today I speak with Beth Humbard, the founder and executive director of Whole Latte Love Cafe. Whole Latte Love. I love saying that. By profession, she's a vocational rehabilitation counselor. And for the last 18 years, she's been assisting people with disabilities go to work in our community. As a mother of someone who is differently abled, her and her family discovered limited vocational training options after high school. And as a result, Whole Latte Love Cafe was created to change those statistics in Stark County. Today we talk about this startup that's also a nonprofit, how the community embraced their mission, what challenges the pandemic has brought on them, and Beth is challenging us all to be more inclusive. This episode is a great one. Listen in. Hey Beth, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited to actually speak with you and just learn a lot more about Whole Latte. Hold on. Am I saying this right? Whole Latte Love Cafe?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I needed to practice that a little bit before I came on the scene and said it. After reading your story, it really sounds like you created the solution to a problem that you have and that a lot of families have. And I want to know a little bit more about the cafe. I want you to tell me your story.
So the cafe really truly began as an idea, like most, I think, business ventures start. I do have a daughter with autism. So as she was approaching high school graduation, I quickly realized there just weren't a lot of options vocationally out there for her. And, as she's grown up, she has two older sisters and she's watched them graduate from high school and get jobs and, drive and go off to college or whatever. And, her options are her path is not the same as theirs. And also my background is in vocational rehabilitation. So I've been helping people with disabilities go to work for the last 18 years. So based on my experiences and then our discovery at the end of high school, it just was very eye-opening. So what started as an idea, she took a class at Hoover High School. It was called the Hotspot. And essentially it was special needs kids creating coffee and hot chocolate and tea and serving their peers in the morning and to teachers and things like that. And she absolutely loved that. She's very social. And so from time to time, I would pop in and just kind of observe and visit her in her element. And each year I realized that she learned a little bit each year and it was transferring into the next year. So it just made sense to me from a customer service standpoint. We can all use customer service skills, right? And so I thought, okay, this makes sense. This is transferable and it's much needed. And quite honestly, the programs that we have right now in Stark County just are not, quite like that. The other component about Whole Latte Love Cafe is, first of all, we're supported employment, which is, it's more hands-on. Job training just allows them to mature and figure out what they like and what they don't like and just get a little bit more experience, paid training experience. But it also allows us to establish a rapport and discover their interest and skills and preferences and take that into the community. So the coffee shop is all about bridging that transition safely into the community and just empowering them with some choices. You and I have had choices all our life. And we're probably not in the same job that we were in after we left high school. So this is all about just providing them with the same opportunities that we've had.
Right. Yeah, I love it. So, walk me through a little bit more of the process. First of all, you're located in town, North Canton, right next to Peace, Love, and Little Donuts, which is perfect.
Yeah. We're
But
very excited. It's a great spot. And honestly, this spot has been vacant for 20 years. It used to be, oh, one of those places that trains beauty,
oh,
like
like a
hair
beauty school,
salon,
cosmetic
nails.
school.
Yeah, a beauty school. And then they moved south on Cleveland Avenue. So that's where they're located now. So anyway, this place has been sitting for 20 years. And we were very fortunate to have a great conversation with TK Harris, which is the landlord. They understand what we're trying to do, and they've been very patient, especially during this pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, they threw us a lot of grace in the middle of the year, and we were able to get a lease amendment. So very grateful for their patience on that, and just allowing us a little bit more time to work on our infrastructure and all of the, as a nonprofit, we have a board of directors. There's 13 of us at the table, so that's a lot of expertise in a lot of areas that are very needed when you're starting a business. So it's just allowed us, actually it's just been God's plan, to
Mm.
put this together the way it's happened. I mean, I don't wish a pandemic on anyone, but in our case it's been a blessing. So
Wow.
yeah.
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 Wow. Yeah. So I appreciate you calling your landlord out just because a lot of grace has had to be given. So that's awesome. I was going to ask you to delve into your process, but I'm more interested right now to talk about your community support. You said you have a board of directors. What has that community support been like for you?
So every day I'm just amazed by the community support. We launched our website in 2018, as well as like social media like Instagram and Facebook, and the community support has been outpouring. It's just been so positive, and so just based on that feedback, that they're embracing this project, and they have continued to embrace this project through a pandemic, through 2 years of fundraising. Folks are giving to our mission and our cause, and we're not even operational yet. The beauty of it before the pandemic was I was able to, because I've been in the industry, I do have some friends, and so I've been able to reach out to them through my daughter and through her associations and through Special Olympics and the program that I used to work at. So we've had some great volunteers that have been willing to, um, you know, be in our videos and work on our campaigns. And we've created a social enterprise, and we started raising money with our coffee bean succulent jars, and we sold those at the community awareness events that we attended, primarily in 2018, some in 2019, not too much this year, just because of the obvious. So we had to get creative and sort of pivot, and do more things like online. But honestly, the community has followed us through all of it. And we've had some great community outreach with different organizations that are willing to create our videos for us, because as you know, they can get very costly, and as a nonprofit, you're trying so hard to raise money, and it's painful to pay a lot of money, but it's so needed, just because the platform has honestly turned into an opportunity for the community to hear their voices and see their faces.
Yeah.
I'm more of the behind the scenes kind of stuff. And I didn't realize that this project was going to be as big as it's turned out to be. So I'm grateful that the community has embraced all of it, and has allowed people with disabilities to be seen and heard.
Yeah. Man, social media has totally changed the game for so many businesses and businesses like yours, startup, nonprofit. You've been able to get on and share your message and garner support from community and from extended community that are learning about you. That's really wonderful. You mentioned that you did these succulent jars. Talk to me about some of the other things that you guys are creating because it's more than just coffee. You can come and get a coffee. First, talk to me about the menu. I want to know about the menu, but then also there's a shop and talk to me about your offering.
So the website has just a small choice of items right now, just because I'm a one man show,
Yeah.
and so it's hard to keep everything juggled and to get those thank you cards out, and just an appreciation of everything that's going on. There's so many moving parts right now. Um, so we do have t-shirts and coffee mugs, and we just over the summer we launched a t-shirt campaign which really focused on the inclusion piece of our business. And we sold over 200 t-shirts in a very short period of time, so that was super exciting. And then we launched our coffee campaign. So we've collaborated with Cherry Blend Coffee Roasters, and they're fairly new to the industry as well. And they're downtown Canton on Cherry Avenue, and they have a lot of options to choose from in terms of coffee, and they just are. They're a great couple and very, very helpful in terms of knowing the coffee bean. And so we launched that campaign probably in October, and we sold samples, 2-ounce bags. And then we asked people to vote, what's your favorite?
Yeah.
And so that's how we came up with our signature roast. So that was really exciting too. So, things that just needed to be done are, this year has finally allowed us to do that. And so that's how we've been able to stay in front of our supporters and let them know that we haven't given up, that we're still working hard behind the scenes. And
Yeah.
even though we couldn't move forward with the construction, there's still much to do. This, like I said, this project has so many moving parts
It's
right
got
now.
legs,
So
it sounds like.
yeah.
I like hearing you say that you got people involved to actually vote and choose the signature cup of coffee or the signature coffee that you offer. So that's awesome. Talk to me about your team. I want to talk about the people that you employ. How do they come to you? And what kinds of jobs are they able to perform? And, share some of the lessons that you're learning from them and that they're getting to learn from you.
Well, first of all, we're not operational yet, but we will have 4 specific jobs that we're going to be training on, and that's a barista, cashier, food prep, dishwashing, and then host or hostess, inventory, cleaning, those kinds of things. So those are the 4 primary positions that we'll be employing folks and training them in. My staff, we're going to be, bare bones in terms of a coffee shop. Because first of all, we only have 1,800 square feet in our little shop, but I will have a program manager, a trained barista, because I don't claim to be a barista. I will have to have a kitchen supervisor and also a driver. So we're the majority of the individuals that will be serving do not drive and will not be able to drive. So they'll need transportation, and their Medicaid waivers provide them supports in the vocational area as well as in transportation. So those are 2 billable areas for us to bring in revenue, in addition to the coffee and the danishes and things like that. So yeah, that's the setup.
Okay.
In addition to the on the job training that they'll be receiving, we are also going to have daily team meetings, and we'll be talking about self determination and self advocacy and how to make safe choices in the community, and what they need in order to move forward from a transportation standpoint. Because at the end of the day, I tell families all the time, we always are worried about our loved ones. That's our main focus. But we're not going to be around forever. So we have to plan. As hard as that sounds, we have to plan for them for when we won't be here. So the coffee shop is all about um, just instilling a little bit more independence, how to make decisions, and getting from work and home again without my mom picking me up and taking me. So lots of things, finding natural supports in the community, maybe going shopping, and how to activities of daily living, how to create a menu, or if I want to make soup, what kind of ingredients am I going to need? Just empowering them with, how do I figure all this out?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we take for granted, but when you have deficits in a cognitive area, those areas all need to be addressed, and help them find the tools that they need in order to achieve what we take for granted.
So as you put together this plan for the people who are working there, your team, your staff, you had to lean heavily on your experience, right? Like, did you've done this? So was this such a natural extension? Like this part, you said you're not a barista, but you are a planner, because this is what you've done. So you were able to kind of develop this curriculum.
Right. Right, and this is my passion. This before I jumped off the dock and got into this. My background has been in helping people with disabilities go to work, and I've worked in a variety of different roles. So I've had this experience, and my passion is just helping people move forward. If that's their choice in life, then I love just giving them the tools to make it happen, and also to give families hope. Sometimes when they're coming out of high school, and your child has relied on what's called an individual education plan, an IEP, you rely on those academic supports throughout their whole career. And then when they graduate, it's gone. And there's really truly nothing. And some families just don't know that there's state agencies that are available to them to help from a vocational standpoint, from a respite standpoint. So I want to be able to link those families to the supports that they need, in order just to make life a little bit easier, or to make them feel a little bit better about their child moving into the community. And those are all honestly scary steps to take for anyone. I'm in the same boat. My daughter is not self-sufficient, and there are no strangers in her life. So those are just conversations that need to be had, though, because you have to plan. So back to my background. Planning this was easy. Honestly, it is just rolling it out now that I'm going to need my board members to say, okay, Beth, this might work, but let's take another look at this.
So are you waiting for, talk to me about the operations part? You did mention that you weren't operational yet. Was this the plan, or did the pandemic kind of get in your way? Was it a plan to ramp up?
Yeah, the pandemic definitely put everything on pause. The board decided, first of all, we're serving a high risk population, and our mission is to bring folks together and to tear down those barriers and let society see that people with disabilities are very, very employable. So we want to change that lens and not put a mask on it if we don't have to. So our plan as a board is to come together in January and talk about a timeline, a feasible, safe timeline that we might be able to put together just based on the information that we have right now and the vaccine that's coming out. And move forward with our construction and operationally. Gosh, our operations committee is fully loaded because you have the retail piece, you have the human resource piece, you have the Medicaid piece, and then of course admin. And so we're finally coming together with that committee and trying to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and work out all those details. And legally, there's like I said, there's a lot of moving parts right now.
Yeah. Well, it
But
sounds.
but now we're into the fun weeds. Now we're into the planning and all the stuff that I love. And so now I'm finally getting this vision out of my head and putting it on paper and allowing the board members to see this is really what I was talking about. And they're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It sounds like a fun adventure and totally worthwhile as well. I can see the change that you are aiming to create. And so, Godspeed to you. I'm so excited. I do have some questions. What do you want other employers to know? You said that it's time that people with disabilities to have a seat at the table. And I just want to know from your perspective, what does the community need to know and how can we change the trajectory?
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, that's my passion is to, by increasing awareness, we can add inclusion and diversity. Honestly, inclusion and diversity should be in every workplace. And if it's not, let's have a conversation. Like, why? What's holding you back? And honestly, not every person that we're going to be training will want to go into manufacturing, or they'll want to paint nails, or it's person centered, and they'll be able to pick and choose what area they have a strong interest in. And so from there, I'll go out. Say, for example, if someone has a really strong interest in veterinarian animal care, I'll go out and find a veterinarian that's willing to have a conversation with us, and we'll go in and do maybe an informational interview, or spend the day shadowing, and allow the trainee to really take it all in and say, yeah, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be. I have to clean out cages. Yeah, I'm not on board with this. But at least they're making the decision, versus us saying, yeah, I'm not sure if you have the skills. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want them to be empowered. And at the same time, I want the employer to see we've taken a lot of time training, and this person has excellent customer service skills, and this is what they are really, really good at. So perhaps we can, job carve a position. So maybe there's things in the back that, have just been piling up and you can't get to. And I have someone in the coffee shop that is so detail oriented that they can come in and they would love to do that work. So that's the type of transitioning that we hope to do and change in the future.
Nice. Kind of along the same lines of that, I'm going to ask you a different question because I saw a quote that you wrote. It says, for too long, people with disabilities have been viewed as less than. What if we started viewing people with disabilities as a benefit? Imagine the outcomes. I love that. I love that you implored us to imagine the outcomes, but I'm curious, what does your imagination look like if we had this beautifully diverse workforce? What does that look like?
Well, I mean, the research and the statistics out there support that, the employers that have people with disabilities on their work staff have a much higher rating, and support from the community. So, I mean, it's out there. It's just a matter of, coming to the table and having a conversation and seeing the benefits of someone, how that, I mean, there's first of all, they're so dedicated. They don't call off work,
Yeah.
so they're very reliable. If we can work out that transportation, all is well. They will be there, trust me. They need that routine. They love that structure. My daughter works, in a day program right now, and it's all she lives for is to
Yeah.
go to work.
Yeah.
And when she doesn't go to work, her question is, well, who feeds the animals, who takes care of the animals when I'm not there, kind of thing. So, um, I just changing that lens, that's what I want to do, giving employers a different perspective.
Yeah. Well, Beth, you can do it. I know. I believe in your team. I'm so energized by you and what you're doing and what you're aspiring to do. I can't wait to see you guys in action. One more last question. I always like to ask people what they're excited about. It doesn't have to be anything to do with your business, it could be just in life.
Well, I'm most excited because, for the past couple of years I've been a grant writer, and I've been, a marketing. I've had to learn marketing, and I've had to write a business plan, and I've had to write a pro forma. And, I'm not a numbers person. I'll be the first to admit it. But I mean, I've gone through all those processes, and I've sat through all those webinars and trainings, and some of my grants are now coming in, and it's positively supporting the cause. So, um, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm just very grateful.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm excited for you on that venture. It's been such a joy to speak with you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for what you're doing for this specific community of people, the people who are differently abled. We sure do appreciate you over here on our community, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for this opportunity to share.
Thank you to our guest today, and thank you for tuning in. Cheers. Until next time.